Hello everyone, welcome to the video, and today we're going to be talking about one of the best dragon builds that you can have in Elden Ring. So this is going to be a perfect mix between Faith and Arcane, and the build is amazing. But before we get into the video, I would like to ask you guys to not only drop a sub, but to like the video if you found this build helpful and you liked it, and also if you guys have any recommendations for a build you want to see. What I've been doing in my past build videos is I've been taking the #1 comment, the most liked comment that recommended a build that they wanted to see, and making a version of it. So if you guys want to see anything specific, comment below. Like I said, the most liked one I will make an entire video out of. And also, if you have any trouble getting any of the items that you see in the builds or in any of the future or past builds, you can go to mmoexp.com and you can get any item you want in the game. Just use code ISARE for 5% off. I'll put the link in the description. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the first thing we always talk about is the actual gear and the stats of the build. So in our main hand, we have the Rivers of Blood Katana. This goes without saying, it is an amazing katana. And then we have the Dragon Communion Seal. And then we have the Okina Mask, Veteran's Armor, Bull Goat Gauntlets, and Bull Goat Greaves. And then for the talismans, we have the Fire Scorpion Talisman. This gives us more fire attack. And then we have the Phlox Canvas Talisman, greatly boosts incantations. And then Great Jar's Arsenal, this allows us to wear the armor we want. And then the Dragon Crest, Great Shield. Now these are actually interchangeable. These are the ones I just have on for PvP. However, if you want a little bit more damage for PvE purposes, you can take out the Great Jars and put on the Ritual Sword Talisman. This will give you a nice boost to damage when you're full HP, which you will most of the time be because there's so much range to this build, so you could actually be casting your abilities very far away. However, for PvP, I didn't want to get staggered out of my animation as much, so I wanted higher poise, and I kept on the Great Jar's Arsenal for a little bit more heavy armor, and overall, I think that this is a really nice PvP build. As for the Wondrous Physic, I use the Flame Shroud and Crack Tier. That gives us more fire damage as well, and the Opaline Bubble Tier, which will negate an entire attack, which is necessary because you will be very vulnerable when you are using the Dragon Incantations. And as for our level, we are level 150. We have 45 Vigor, 35 Mind, 25 Endurance, 12 Strength, 25 Dexterity, 10 Intelligence, and 40 Faith, and 40 Arcane. So now we're going to take a look at the incantations for the actual build. And the first one, we have Flame Grant Me Strength. We have Catch Flame, which is going to be our main spammable. And then we have Aguil's Flame. And then we have X-Ike's Decay. And last but not least, we have the Borealis's Mist. Now there is, however, an incantation that I wasn't able to put in just because I didn't have enough slots, and this is Grael's Roar. If you put this one in, you will get 10% more damage, and enemies will be doing 20% less damage to you. Like I said, I didn't have enough for it, but I would put it in if I did have the memory slots. So now I want to talk a little bit about how to use the build and where it shines. So it's actually an incredible build for PvP. I know a lot of people were kind of saying that it wasn't because it had long cast times, and there are a couple downsides to the build. However, I found with the damage and the fact that you can actually aim where the dragon fire is going to go, it does incredible damage. So for me personally, I went with the Aguil's Flame as my main Dragon Breath, just because it definitely did the most damage, and whereas Fire Resistant is the most common resistance for an enemy to have, I still feel as though the damage was pretty much night and day, especially when I had it all buffed up. With Flame Grant Me Strength to buff my flame damage, it was absolutely incredible. Also, when I was having the talismans and the Flame Grant Me Strength to buff up just my Aguil's Flame, it was also getting our spammable, which was the Catch Flame, and actually our Rivers of Blood damage as well. So we were getting a ton of extra damage just by going with our main one as Aguil's Flame. I did try out the Glintstone Breath or the Smorag's Glintstone Breath, and whereas it did do amazing damage, I found that you just couldn't buff it up enough to make it do similar to Aguil's Flame, and that's one of the reasons why we actually have Borealis's Breath in here as well, is just because if you do run into an enemy that is very, very heavily resistant to flame, all you have to do is just hit him with the Scarlet Rot, and then hit him with the Frozen Breath, and also we have the Rivers of Blood to finish off any enemy with the bleed damage, just in case they are, like I said, heavily resistant to flame. But a lot of times, especially in PvP, people are not resistant to flame, and I was doing absolute insane damage on most players if they got caught too close to me and I was able to cast the ability. I was able to get a lot of kills while free aiming it. I definitely feel like you guys should try to free aim it and kind of aim where people are going to go. In one of these PvP clips, I actually aimed it ahead of where the guy was running because a lot of times people are able to just outrun the ability itself. So you kind of want to put it in front of where they're going to go to a point where they can't dodge it. And that's the best part of this ability, is that it's very difficult to dodge if people get in range of you. And if anyone gets too close, you have two options. And one is catch flame. In one of these clips, I absolutely destroy a guy with very heavy armor. I hit him in like 3 catch flames, and he dies instantly. So it's incredible damage. You're able to actually cast the ability entirely before katana spam, and since katanas are such a large part of this game, that is a very great thing to have for the kit. And then we have the Rivers of Blood as well, which you guys are very aware because everyone runs it. Very capable of doing insane damage numbers and killing people in one combo. So overall, I actually really enjoyed this build. I feel like it's one of the better builds in the game for not only PvP content, but PvE. It does incredible and very reliable damage, and overall, I don't see many downsides to the build. However, there are a few, and we're going to talk about those now. The first downside being obviously the very long cast time. It's very unfortunate, and there's really nothing to stop this from taking as long because nothing really affects how long the dragon spells take. However, since you are doing damage while the cast time is going on and it's so hard to dodge, people aren't exactly able to close the gap so easily. The only thing that people can do is just cast a spell from far away, but the dragon breath actually reaches so much farther than the range of 90% of incantations and spells in the game that you're going to be able to get off your ability for free. And that's one of the reasons why I run poise, is just in case, like you'll see in one of these clips, someone threw a lightning bolt at me and I completely ignored it and ended up killing the host. So it's definitely nice to have over 75 poise to ignore a lot of the katana spam and garbage weapon spam that you're going to be encountering, because you don't want to just get hit with one tiny little dagger hit and fly right out of your animation, because that's going to be very counterintuitive and it's going to hurt the build a lot. So 2 additional downsides of the build is the fact that it is very FP hungry. It eats up a lot of your mana, and also you are locked in an animation when you start it. But it's actually pretty easy to go around this. It's just you have to pack a couple extra FP flasks and make sure you don't always run out. And also, from all of the time that I was playing it, even though I was locked in the animation, it didn't seem to be too much of a problem. Overall, it's not like a really make or break part of the build, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. However, there is a risk factor there, because if someone knows what they're doing, they could possibly take advantage of you being stuck in the animation. However, that is pretty much it for today's video, so if you guys like the build, make sure to drop a like on the video and a sub to the channel. But that's pretty much it for today, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.